Good morning, my YouTube family out there in internet land. Nice to see everybody on this glorious Wednesday in Central Florida. The weather is fabulous. That's why we moved here, at least partly. So we're going to do part 2 of working, rehabbing, stretching, exercising on our handy dandy little chair here. If you don't have a chair that works specifically, you can use a dining room chair, you can use a bench of some sorts. You can even sit on a second level of a stair if you have stairs, and that will also work if you don't have a chair. Also today we're going to just use some little 3-pound dumbbells, 2-pound dumbbells, but if you don't have dumbbells, you can grab 2 water bottles, and those water bottles can be the same as a dumbbell when we can do a couple of nice arm strengtheners. So again, when we're working on the chair, we want to always think about alignment, right? And we're trying to really focus on rehabbing our bodies and being in symmetry. So nice to have the video right there in front of you, but also once you've kind of memorized some of the moves that you really like, you can do it in front of a mirror, and that way you can really watch the alignment in the body and just making sure that we're biomechanically correct and we're not, doing any weird imbalances that then can create further injury. So anyway, we're just going to start seated on our chair this morning. We're going to grab our block and place it as a spacer between the 2 knees. It's just a nice way to you can squeeze, right? And then we get some adductor, but also just to use it as a spacer. And then I just want you to sit really tall, stomach in, and you're going to give me 3 big arm circles in each direction. Don't worry how big yours are. They don't have to be as big as mine. Maybe you're not as limber and this is all you've got. That's okay. We're working through the rotator cuff, okay? Front line of chest and shoulders. So 3 in one direction. Make sure you're sitting really tall through your core and your postural muscles, because we want to be strengthening those like we're growing through our crown, okay? So 3 arm circles in one, 3 arm circles in the other. I always like a spinal twist. So just bring one hand behind you on your chair, okay? And then bring the other one on the outside edge of the knee. Sit tall, inhale, exhale, spin the axis of the spine. So the twist is really about just finding space in the midsection and lubricating the intervertebral discs of our back. So again, inhaling to sit high, exhaling to spin the axis. Stay there for about 3 to 5 breaths before switching sides, bringing the opposite hand across. Your other hand's like a kickstand behind you on the chair, or it can even rest on the back of the chair, and then you just use that as your leverage to twist the spine. So we're just moving the rib cage, we're moving the belly button, we're trying to keep the hips and the knees and the thighs center. So nice, easy spinal twist. And then always just maybe an interlace. I know we did this last time. This can be very challenging for you if you have really tight shoulders and arm bones, but really important, right? You want to rise up. Inhale to look up, stretch the front line of the throat. Exhale, chin to chest. Just a nice way to wake up. One more time, inhale. And then last time, exhale. Then release those arms. Just give yourself a little twist. Maybe scooch a little more forward so you don't hit the back of your chair. But just a little seated twist side to side with a little bit of momentum now as we create a little more heat in the body. And then take one hand down the side edge of your chair, one arm up, staying in that block. I want you to reach the bottom arm like you're trying to reach down to the floor. As your top arm reaches skyward, you can inhale to look up, exhale to look down. That's going to help massage the neck muscles. Inhale, once again, you can look up, get a nice stretch. Exhale, you can look down. Then come back through, kind of shrug that out. Same thing, second side. Fingertips down the side edge of the chair or your bench. If you're on stairs, just let it hang down to the next stair. Once again, you want to reach up high, so we're opening the intercostal muscles on the top side and then stretching and lengthening through the muscles on the bottom. Again, you can look up, inhale to get some neck movement. Exhale to look down toward the floor. So again, just lengthening and stretching. I always like 3 to 5 breaths in every position. Stay longer if it feels good, okay? Now, we're going to heat up the arms by simply holding them straight out to the side. Doesn't seem like much, but it will. And then make sure you're nice and grounded. You're going to kick your left leg behind you. Okay, so kick your heel behind you. If you don't have the ability to kick it behind you, just lift it up. Keep your block and your knees in symmetry, super important. And then I want you to extend that leg out as you sit tall, right? And then kick that back in and back. If you have the ability to kick it all the way back, do that. It's for the range of your knee mobility. But if you only can go to like right there because you're on a couch or a chair that doesn't have a open bottom, always modifications and variations that we can do. So we're squeezing it on the block with a little bit of urgency. We're stretching our arm bones long. You're going to start to feel those shoulders. Try not to rest them. Keep them out to the side. Make that strength, those arm bones lengthening. So you're going to do 10 leg extensions. That's what these are called, leg extensions. Nice, strong, top of thigh quadricep. I know those shoulders are burning. I'm going to give them a rest in a second. Let's do 2 more. I never count, I just kind of assume, but you do 10 so you're in symmetry, and then set that foot down. You feel that heat in the shoulders? Didn't do anything. You can grab your water bottles if you felt nothing and you want more burn. Hold your water bottles or your 2 to 3 pound dumbbells out to the side. Okay, now you're going to do the same thing, second side. You're going to kick your right heel up, watch your knees in symmetry, and this time we're just going to stretch our arms straight overhead. This is called staff pose in yoga. So we're going to kick our heel back, try to keep your knees and your blocks in symmetry. Sometimes it's a battle. And then just extend it forward and bring it back. Now, don't look at the bottoms of my dirty feet. That's all you're going to look at now. Because I walk around out here on our property and it's nothing but grass and dirt roads. So I'm a beach girl by nature. Always had dirty feet when I was a surfer. Nothing's really changed out here. Hug your shoulder heads down so you're not shrugging into your ears, right? But you're elongating, and then once again sitting really tall using your core. You're going to do 10 of these, which we've probably done since I've been babbling on. So just a nice strong extension of the top of that thigh, really feeling that quadricep work. But again, kicking it all the way back, working on that knee mobility, which is really important if we're rehabbing injuries. You guys, that's so awesome. That's an easy wake up, right? Easy warm up, get a little heat. Take those legs out nice and wide. Give yourself that shoulder drop as you twist. It's just a nice reset for the hips. We always like a little stretch of the inner thighs and those hip creases. Awesome job, you guys. So now we're going to stand up and we're going to come to our chair. And we're going to bring our hands down on our chair. We did something like this in the last practice where we do just a couple standing cat dog tilts, right? It's okay to be repetitive video to video in nature because I want you to start really accumulating these exercises in your muscle memory, and then you don't even need my videos. You can just do these at home on your own. So a couple cat dogs, little wag the tail, nice. Okay, now I want you to set up a 3-point stance. That means that my foot is going to be centered between my 2 hands on the chair. So it's this little tripod. And then I'm going to elevate my right leg to the sky. Now, don't put a lot of weight in your arms. I don't want you capsizing into those wrists. We want to stay light. This is really about your standing leg. And then what you're going to do is keep this hip dialed down. This hip that's elevated, keep it dialed down, big toe to the floor. And then all I want you to do 10 times is a leg curl. You're going to close the distance from heel to glute. That's all you're doing. Close the distance from heel to glute. Now, you may not do more than 5. That may be enough for you. Or maybe just standing here like this is enough for you. It is really going to start to strengthen the hip joint and the femur bone, which as women especially, we need that bone density as we age, and that is what weight bearing gives us. So 10 leg curls. Strengthening the back of our hamstring on the elevated leg, okay? Keeping the hip dialed down, all that energy. And then on your standing leg, really working it up. So I'm sure you're feeling that a lot. You'll do all of your 10 and then set your foot down, hop. Now I like a little wag of the tail, or maybe kind of move away from your chair for a second and just take a gentle forward fold down towards your legs. Let everything go really heavy, and then gentle as you ragdoll roll, rise to reset. You guys, that's exactly it. We're going to do the same thing second side. So we're going to set up our little tripod for balance. We're going to be really feather light in our hands, right? Like I should be able to lift my hands up and just balance. So I'm very light, very feather light in my hands, okay? Then hip dial down, tummy in, straight line of energy, and then I start my hamstring curl. Look straight down most of the time. Check the video every once in a while for form, but I want that neck long so there's no tension in the back of the neck. So we're also strengthening our arms a bit because there is some weight in them. This is all about rehabbing the body safely and doing exercises all the way into, say, our 80s and 90s where we just want to move, we want to get limber, we want to have joint mobility, and that's what this is all about. So these are the opposing muscle groups of the ones we just did with the leg extensions. These are now our leg curls. So strengthening again the back of the hammy, but also isometrically this leg, and then working on stability of our balance and our core. So you'll do 10 of those as well. Once again, maybe a little wag of the tail, a cat-dog tilt just to reset all of that, and then roll up to a stance. So really good, just a way to start moving. Now to stretch that out, let's go back to our first leg, and we're gonna do hip circles. So you're standing nice and strong next to your chair for balance. You're gonna lift your right leg up, and you're just gonna do the biggest leg circle you can. And notice that I'm dipping my body. That's awesome, right? But you want it to be more about the leg than anything else. We're basically stirring energy in that big hip girdle, the biggest muscle group of the body. Then go in the reverse. So you're gonna do 5, maybe 3, maybe 5. Big hip circles, bend the knee, keep it gentle. Don't overthink this, just move the hips. Doesn't matter, maybe you're just right here. Maybe it's real tiny at first. That's okay, right? This is all about the starting point, and then we grow and we get more mobile and we become more flexible, and then everything else in our life is easier. So once again, your chair is here for balance. Don't want it to be about that. Still strengthening our standing leg isometrically, right? And even using a little side body here, which is awesome. 5 in one direction, then once again, circling it around. Give me 5 in the opposing direction. So just really moving here, okay? 5 and 5. So that should just feel like you reset your hip girdle, got some energy flowing in the thighs. Take an easy spinal twist just to sort of reset, feet grounded, tummy in. Just see how everything's feeling thus far. Okay, really good. Now, we're gonna take our chair. We're gonna bring one leg up onto our chair. Now, the reason you have your blocks is that sometimes we're really not very limber, and we need that block to lift up our chair. So we're gonna get our foot up onto that chair. You can do this, it's a little scary at first. Maybe have a banister or something near you can hold on to help. Then we're just gonna bow forward right next to the big toe and foot that's on that chair, okay? So I'm both hands resting on the chair next to that foot. Okay, now the block just brings that chair up more. If this is too intense here, you're gonna be feeling that hip crease compression, right? Now, maybe it's not enough and you wanna come down onto your forearms. This is called ostrich pose in yoga. So there's lots of options here for you. This is a really, really, really good hip opener. You'll stay 3 to 10 breaths, right? As intense as you need it to be for you, okay? So folding forward, rounding the back, just kind of resting down into that stretch, okay? Then carefully adjust to push yourself out and take that leg out. Give it maybe a little shake, a little shimmy, and then we'll do the second side. So once again, standing square to the chair, step that foot up on nice and solidly. You got a nice 90-degree bend in the knee. Reach down. If you can't get to the chair, right, if that's too intense on this hip and this leg, then we bring a block, and your block can come up on many levels. Maybe your block's there and you want a little more, you come down to forearms or all the way down to the chair. The goal is to stretch the back, the hip, and even this hamstring that we were just working a little bit ago. So again, we're just taking slow strides right here, just trying to stretch into some of those tighter areas in the body. Then go ahead and slowly rise up. Again, anywhere from 3 to 5 breaths, right? All right, we're gonna do 2 more stretches today, one of which may be a little bit unattainable for this average person. It's a quad stretch, but it can take time. And if you have your yogi strap, I will tell you that if you have a little loop in it, which is just pulling the yogi strap through, that creates a loop, and then that can go around your foot. Now, this may be one where you need more than your chair. Maybe you need a wall, right? So that you really feel firm in this. You're gonna place the strap around your foot, okay? You're gonna stand, and then with the strength of your arm, so it's gonna take a little bit of strength, you're gonna start to pull that leg towards you, okay? Now you can go opposite, might give you a little different angle on the wrist so that it's not so intense. You just kind of pull that arm behind the back and it pulls the leg up, right? Flex the foot is going to give you a little more intensity on that quad, okay? And this is, the strap is only if you can't get the foot. Now, if you don't need the strap, then you grab the ankle or the foot and you just stand really tall. Just stand tall. Balance, pelvis slightly forward, ribs in, ankle flexed for the protection of the knee. 5 to 10 breaths, same thing, second side. Now, if you're not worried about stability as much, and you can kick that foot into the hand, right? That's all it is, foot to hand, just like that. And maybe that's enough right there. You're like, wow, that's a really great stretch across the rectus femoris, which is the front of that thigh. Flex the ankle for protection of the knee. Try not to dump the booty back, you won't feel the stretch. Pull the booty under you and then pull the heel closer to that glute, okay? So again, 5, maybe 10 breaths. Again, you always have the ability of taking the strap, and you can even come down all the way like so that there's no balance issue whatsoever, and then just wrangle up that strap and feel that stretch right there. So, quad stretch, front of thigh, hip flexor, right? Again, all about mobility. That is why we do this. Okay, last stretch of the day, so good. Always remember that your blocks are there for you as bolsters. They can always be on your chair if it's not enough, okay? So that is always there. You're gonna bring one foot to the chair and one foot back about 3 feet. Have them a little wide, like hips distance, right? Hips distance, not narrow, because that's tippy. So about hips distance, both legs a little buoyant, just barely bent knees. So not locked, but not bent, right? Just soft. Then we're gonna reach for this chair. Woo! Now that might be enough. You might be, holy Hannah, Chris, I'm feeling this in that hamstring, my back, the back calf. Okay, but maybe we can come all the way down on our forearms, okay? Now I'm gonna teach you a little something. Try not to round your back. Try to flatten your back. You're gonna get more intensity in this front leg. Push down through the back of this heel, you're gonna get calf and low leg, which all important, you guys. These muscles all work us, right? And then you can kind of lean forward and back. That's gonna give you tibialis, that's front of the shin, calf of this leg. So you're just playing with this stretch. Now here's a little structural thing. Sometimes people cock their hip way out to the side like this because it feels better. I always say plug it back. So you want your sacrum to be really flat. You don't want your hip or your booty to be pointing out to the side. You want it to point straight back. Then bend both knees and ragdoll roll rise to reset. Really good, you guys. Same thing, second side. Step your second foot up. About 3 feet in distance-ish. Both feet grounded, knees just soft. Reach for your chair first. Make sure you've got that sustainability and balance. Then you can bring it down to the forearms if it's available. Drop the head all the way, right? When we drop the head, it's going to stretch into the sacral area. Same thing, make sure that we plug that femur back, right? Rather than having it cock out, we can come forward and back to stretch low legs a little different. You see I'm kind of teeter-tottering between my feet. That's going to stretch ankle stabilizers. Remember, flat back, nice and stretched. You can rest your head all the way down, or you can even make a fist with your hands and rest your head there if it's about neck tension. We don't want to gather tension in any of the other areas. Then we bend the knees, we walk our hands through to the chair, and we ragdoll roll rise to come up. You guys, that is your second rehab chair. There are other things I can take you through, which would be down on the floor, but using the chair as a prop, which is really important. Really, I just want these rehab videos to be about being able to move and stretch. Even in the office, you've got your chair, you remember some of these stretches, like all the way back to video 1, where we did just this really nice aligned figure 4, right? Or just these spinal twists. Don't need blocks, don't need weights. Maybe it's just taking a few arm circles. Maybe it's a chest expansion behind a lift and a lower. So it's really about bringing the floor up to us so we don't have to get up and down a lot, right? It's about building a foundation and then having somewhere to go with it. So I really hope that these videos have worked in your body. I always enjoy feedback. Again, these were inspired for my Auntie Verna. Always praying blessings over healing for you guys, and that your bodies would continually become more limber, more alive, and more healthy. Have a great week from Central Florida. I'm Kristen Cowherd, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.